Hey guys, welcome back to the Python tutorial for beginners. My name is Michal and in this video we're gonna talk about numerical operations in the Python. This topic is one of the basics, so please sit down, relax and follow along while I'm showing you the code in my computer. I highly recommend to write the code on yourself as always, and of course I will provide the source code for you, but only in case you get totally lost, please copy paste the code to your Visual Studio Code, okay? So let's dive into the Visual Studio Code. In this case, I have pre-prepared some examples of numerical operations in Python, as you can see in this Visual Studio Code file. So here I have created a file called numerical_operations.py. Again, notice the syntax. I'm using something called camel case, which means that if we have a name of the file which consists of multiple words, each word starts with a lowercase, and between the words, instead of space, I'm using underscore. This camel case syntax for the file names, Python file names, is used worldwide in the Python programming community, so I highly encourage you to use this syntax for naming. It's called the naming conventions also. So if we look into the file, we have a couple of simple operations, always being assigned to a variable called value. In the previous videos, I covered the variable syntax and the way how Python assigns the value to the variables. And here you can also see that always I'm printing the value of the variable with some additional text. So I'm extending the print function from the previous video with a value. Well, when I'm using the function like this, it's like the Python will always concatenate the value of the variable at the end of the string and put there the space, right? So we can just simply run this command, but before we do, let's first check out what's the value of the first variable. And here is the simple 1 plus 1 operation. So in this case, the value of the variable value will be 2, okay? Again, there we have the division, the subtraction, the multiplication, the division, and other stuff like this, okay? So before I explain each of it, let's just check out the output of this file. To run the file, just right click in the middle again and run Python file in terminal. This will open up the terminal in Visual Studio Code, and because I'm using big font, it cannot fill the whole screen. I will open it a little bit more, okay? So as we can see, in this part, here is the beginning of the line, because I have the big screen, you cannot see it. So if I just open it like this, you can see that here the Python 3 interpreter has been invoked with the file named numerical operations. This is the whole file to the numerical operations, path to the numerical operations. And as you can see, the first print is here. It's called addition and 2, and it refers to this line, the second line in the Visual Studio Code. So addition, and the value was 2 because that's the result of 1 plus 1, okay? 1 minus 1 is 0. That's correct. The third operation is the multiplication. So 1 times 1 is always 1, right? So it's 1. Then I'm showing you how to divide something, right? And in previous video, I was talking about the data types. So as you can see, when you divide these two whole numbers, so 10 is a whole number and 5 is a whole number, you will get the 2. And 2 is in general the whole number, but the division will always return a float type. So that's the reason why I'm always also, except the result, I'm also printing the type of the resulting value, right? So as you can see, whole number division is 2 and the class is float. That refers to the line 9 in the Visual Studio Code. Okay, and now I want to show you what happens if you divide, if the result is not the whole number but the real number. Yes, for example, 10 divided by 3. So it's an irrational number because it has endless, the floating point. So the result is 3.333. It's here in this line. And as you can see, the class, the data type of the value will be again float. And then in this file on the line 14 and 15, I have something strange. And this hashtag refers to comments. Now, comments can be a broad topic, and I will cover it later. But right now, the only thing you need to know about the comments is that whenever a Python interpreter will see a comment line in the file, this line will be ignored during the processing, right? So this line won't be evaluated in the output, even not the operation will be evaluated and even not processed, so nothing will happen. So the interpreter will just ignore the line 14 and 15, right? So as you can see, the zero division value is not printed after, but the exponential operation is printed after, because after that we have the exponential operation value, right? So I will run also these lines, but first let's go into the exponential operation. So what if you want to raise some number in the power of 2, right? So as in this case, I'm raising the number 2 in the power of 2, and the result should be 4, and the result is 4 in this case. It's this line over here in the output, right? And then we have something which is called a modulo. Modulo in the programming language stands for one special operation. So imagine you have something, syntax written like this. So 10% 4. You can read it as 10 modulo 4. And the output of this operation is the rest after the division. So it's when you divide 10 by 4, the result should be 2.5, right? But you know, if you want to get the whole number division, you should only have the 2. So you can rewrite 10 as 2 times the number, the divisor. So 2 times 4 plus the rest, 2, right? So the modulo in this case will return the value of the rest. So in this case, it will be 2, right? And that's written here. I will go into more examples of modulo later, but let's check out the opposite of modulo, which is the floor division. So floor division, and this will return the number 2 in this case. So it from this equation it will return the value 2, because it's the number of times you can multiply the divisor in the number you want to divide it with 2, right? So in this case, it will be 2, right? So let's go into examples. With the examples, you will understand it much better, right? So let's run the examples in the terminal, because we want to practice also your terminal skills, not only the Visual Studio Code. So go to your terminal. Again, you can write command space and write terminal, and open the Python interpreter. So again, write Python 3, enter. And now assign a value to something, or in the Python interpreter, you can directly write your equations. So you can write 2 plus 2 equals to 4, right? So 10 modulo 4 equals to 2, right? So the rest after the whole number division of 10 is 2. So that means if I increase this to 11, what should be the result? You can answer. The result should be 3, right? So if I run it again, it's 3, right? So now if I have 12 modulo 4, what should be the result? Now this is a tricky, because you can divide 12 by 4 without any rest. So the result should be 0, and the result is 0. Exactly. And now the floor division. You have 10 floor division 4. The result is what in this case? How many times you can fill 4 into 10? 2 times. Exactly. So the result is 2. And okay, and how about 11? What should be the result in this case? Again 2, right? And how about 12? 4. What should be the result in this case? Right? It's 3. because you can fill 3 times the number 4 in the number 12. Okay, the modulo and floor division can be the complicated concepts in this case, but I hope you understand it with these examples. Now come back to division, right? So in the mathematics, you cannot divide 0 with any number. Yes, because it makes no sense to divide 0 with any number. So what will Python say us if we try to divide 0 by any number? So 0 divided by, let's say, 3 will result in 0, right? So no problems. Okay, and if we want to assign it to a value, 0 divided by 3 and print the value is 0, right? Fine. And if we want to divide something with 0, 3 divided with 0, you cannot do that in mathematics, will return something which is an error. We encountered errors in the previous video, and this is a special error. It's very descriptive. It says 0 division error, division by 0. So Python accepts the rules of mathematics, and you cannot divide it by 0, right? Let me show you one more example. If we go to Visual Studio Code, and I will uncomment this thing. So if you want to uncomment something, you just delete the hashtags before it, and you rewrite it like this, and we run it, we should get the error, right? So this is a good example how to train yourself with errors. So run Python file in terminal. And as I have scrolled down, here is the point where the Python 3 was called with the file again, right? And as you can see, at the back we have the 0 division error, right? So now we run the file and we receive an error, and we see an error message. And now, how do we know where the error is? Yes, we know it because I just put it there artificially, but sometimes you have in your file an error and suddenly you are receiving error messages and you want to look for the error. So if you look at this text, it starts with traceback. In the Python, this is called trace, and it specifies the position of the error. So sometimes it can be very easy to find an error, and sometimes it is very hard. But in this case, it's very easy, because if you look at here, 0 division by 0, then the line is being printed where the error happened. So value /0, right? But sometimes you have the file too big to look for this specific line. So Python also provides you the exact line where the error happened. So it says, the error is at line 14, Michal. Please check the error, fix the error, and run the file again. So he says, here is the error. So in order to fix it, you can just 0 divide by 3 and run the whole file again. Okay. Fine guys, I want to show you one more interesting example of how fast can the computation be in the Python. So imagine you want to do the exponential operation, right? So you have 2 raised by number 2. So in this case it's 4, right? Okay, that was easy. Even you can do it in your head. But how about 2 raised by 100? Was it fast? Immediate results in Python. So Python is leveraging the whole power of your CPU to run this operation in your computer and give you the results. And it can be very fast, even faster than your calculator. You say, well, that was easy. My calculator can do it also very fast. So how about 2 by 200? You can see very fast. Fine. And how about 2 by 1000? You can see immediate results. A lot of numbers, you can trust me, you can trust the Python, it's always right. So you get the number, right? So you can try this example in your computer to see the limits of the computer. When you will increase and giving more and more zeros at the end, suddenly it will take some time until the result will be provided. But I will keep this for you as a training and example to try it on your own, try the limits of your computer. Each computer is different. It really depends on number of cores you have in your computer and how fast is your CPU and stuff like this. So please feel free to check this out. Okay guys, so that's everything about the mathematical operations in the Python. I hope you learned something new. Now you can use the Python interpreter instead of your calculator. So hope this video was useful, and we will continue in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I see you again.